If you go to pull cold brew and you don't hear any sound and nothing comes out, it could mean you're having a nitrogen issue. When you run out of cold brew coffee, it's pretty easy to tell because there's nothing left in the cold brew keg and there's nothing coming out of the tab. When you're out of nitrogen, it's a little harder to tell, and that's why we have the regulator with a dial that shows how much is left in the tank. So for the nitrogen regulator, what we have is on top, we have the on and off valve, and then the regulator itself has two dials. The one on the bottom shows how much is in the tank, and then the one on top shows what the tank pressure is set at. Then underneath the regulator, we have this handle that we can use to turn it on and off quickly. On the front of the nitrogen regulator is this screw that you can use to turn up and down the pressure. You don't need to turn this screw at all because we've already set the pressure before we drop it off, but that is so that you can know where to change the pressure settings if the pressure's off. Nitrogen is a great gas to use to pressurize your cold brew keg because it's not going to be soluble like the CO2 gas is going to be. So as you can see on this nitrogen regulator, there's nothing left in the tank. It's all the way at the bottom on the pressure. So it's time to swap the nitrogen tank. You'll have a backup nitrogen tank in your kegerator that should have a white plastic wrap on it just like this. What you're going to do is grab the wrench that you have left in your kegerator, and you're just going to take this and wrench it off. You just need a little bit to be able to do it by hand, and now you can take the regulator off of the old nitrogen tank. When you put it on the new nitrogen tank, you're just going to do the same thing in reverse. You're going to thread that threading back on, and make sure you tighten it with a wrench so that you don't have any nitrogen leaks. Just like that. Now when you open up the new nitrogen tank, you should be able to see the dial come up so you know that you have nitrogen in the new tank. And then you can open up the valve on the bottom and check with the tab on your keg to make sure that the nitrogen is flowing.